Hello, my name is Joe, and today I'll be refuting the claim that having low expectations is the key to a happier life. Now, the advocate uses three secondary claims to support this main claim. The first being that contentment is achieved by exceeding one's expectations. The second is having high and normal expectations. It leaves one vulnerable to discontent, and failing to achieve an expectation, it leads to a path of self-blame. Now, my response to his first secondary claim, which is contentment is achieved by exceeding one's expectations, he cites a research conducted that gives the meaning to happiness. However, the meaning to happiness or happy is very vague. Like, it has a lot of different meanings. If I were to ask every one of you what was your meaning of happiness, I would probably get a different answer for each one of you. So you can't really go off one meaning for your argument. Also, he goes on to say that you have to have low expectations so you will be more likely to succeed them. However, the counterclaim to that is having high expectations is good, because then you could achieve your dreams or your goals. If you have low expectations, then how do you ever hope, to get far in life? Let's say a student in college gets a C in a class or fails a class. He or she is now sad if he drops his expectations and doesn't take the class again. Then you probably won't get credit for the class, and probably will affect his chances of graduating. However, if he or she kept their expectations high and took the class again like you're allowed to, he or she could have gotten an A, and it would have helped towards their overall GPA and probably getting a job later after they graduate. In an article of the Forward House Times by Richard McCulloch, he says that in order to achieve greatness, greatness must be expected. So, you can't drop your claims and still hope to have a happier life, because that would mean you're just settling for something less valuable. Going on to the secondary claim that states having high and normal expectations leaves one vulnerable to discontent. He doesn't really use any evidence to his argument. It's all basically just reasoning on his part. So there's nothing I could really go against from statistical data, because there's none provided. However, I did look up something in the history.com channel. It was a video and an article on Thomas Edison that said that when he was building his light, the light that he's famously known for, he used thousands of materials and ran hundreds of tests before he actually managed to invent the light. Now, let's say that the first, second, or 100th test that he conducted, he just decided to drop his expectations of not making the light and decided to abandon the project altogether. Who knows if there would be somebody that would have invented the light later on. And it was because of him keeping his high expectations that he was able to build the light and many other inventions, and that's why he's known as one of the great geniuses of history. Okay, so going on to his third and final claim, which is failing to achieve an expectation leads to the path of self-blame. He cites a research, or actually it's a book and a video that I saw, and he stated the paradox of choice, which says, if you buy a pair of pants and you don't like them, then you're going to blame yourself for not buying the right pair. This book was written about 10 years ago, so now technology has caught up, and it surpasses some of the claims that the book makes, such as the one that he made about the jeans. When you go buy a pair of jeans, it's logical that you try them on before you buy them. So I don't see how you buy a pair of jeans and you don't like them, when you can just simply try them on and see if you would like them or not. And it also goes on to say that more options is actually bad, but however, in this case, more options would actually be good, because if they only had like a couple of options of jeans and you didn't find the one that you liked, then you leave the store without buying a pair. However, if they had, you know, several more options, then it's more likely a chance that you'll find a pair that you actually like and buy and be happy with the result. In his last claim, he also says that, you know, you blame yourself if you fail to achieve something. But, you know, such as a thing as buying a pair of pants. It's like, just because you bought a pair and you didn't like it doesn't mean that, oh, you know, you shouldn't care about the next pair you buy, or maybe you should lower your expectations so the next pair you buy, you don't really care how it fits or how it looks. You know, you buy that pair with your money. You know, you probably worked really hard for that money, worked long hours for that money, so you shouldn't settle for something that you're paying out of your own pocket that you worked for. You know, you should try to get the most out of what you're buying because that money is yours. Okay, so that concludes my argument towards his main claim that having low expectations is the key to a happier life, which I do not think is true. Actually, having high expectations is actually the key to a more successful life.
Well, I like the fact that you have an exit line that kind of summarizes your argument as opposed to, well, I guess that's it, which we got in a few other of these presentations. So I think that leaves everybody with a good impression. You've got good organization at the beginning of the speech. I thought you did a nice job signposting on the second and the third points especially. The first point, you've got a challenge on the definition, basically, what is happiness? This is kind of a vague thing, and I think you can have some different standards. You kind of give us some general hypotheticals on this. I think you could probably use one or two particulars on that point. The idea of dreams and goals and meeting those dreams and goals, I think, is a good illustration of that. The idea that there wouldn't be any progress if you always aim low, I think that's a good point to make. And later on, when you bring up Edison, I was thinking of some other examples. Imagine if, you know, we were talking about groups of people and say, ethnic minority, you name a group, just be satisfied with where you are and be glad that you're not being oppressed anymore. Just be thankful that you're not thrown in jail when you are stopped for something, that kind of stuff. In other words, it's to say, be satisfied with the things that make your life miserable, and then you'll be happy and I think that's the most, begging the question kind of reasoning that's going on here. And I thought you did a good job. It just seemed like there would be more arguments that you could make on that point. I like the one that you had with Thomas Edison. I thought that was a good example on that second point. And then the failure thing on the third point, we got a lot of discussion about pants. And, I don't know that the advocate's example was all that great, but, and when you said paradox, I thought that you were talking about Dockers. So that's what a paradox is. It's khakis. All right.